walking on the promises and songs of yesterday, and I've made up my mind. I ain't wasting no more time. Here I go again. Here I go again. Though I keep searching for an answer, I never seem to find what I'm looking for. Lord, I pray you give me strength to carry on, 'cause I know what it means to walk along the lonely street of dreams. Here I go again on my own, going down the only road I've ever known. Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone, and I've made up my mind. I ain't wasting no more time. I'm just another heart in need of rescue, waiting on love's sweet charity. And I'm gonna hold on for the rest of my days, 'cause I know what it means to walk along the lonely street of dreams. And here I go again on my own, going down the only road I've ever known. Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone, and I've made up my mind. I ain't wasting no more time, but here I go again. Here I go again. Here I go again. Here I go. Cause I know what it means to walk along the lonely street of dreams. And here I go again on my own, going down the only road I've ever known. Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone, and I've made up my mind. I ain't wasting no more time. And here I go again on my own, going down the only road I've ever known. Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone, 'cause I know what it means to walk along the lonely street of dreams. And here I go again on my own, going down the only road I've ever known.
Don't let me down easy. If you're gonna leave me, baby, go and leave me all the way. Don't ask for all your things back, cussing out my name, yeah, just to go and take back what you say. Burn all the bridges, don't ask forgiveness, walk away like I'm someone you hate. Don't let me down easy. If you're gonna leave me, baby, go and leave me all the way.
If it's over, so fuck it. Just don't act like my love wasn't nothing. Like I wasn't the one you was holding that night, telling all of your secrets and hugging. Guess you right, it's too good to be true. Was a point, all I needed was you. But shit, time after time, I just fussing and fighting. It's time that you do what you do. And it's cool. Mama said it was fish in the sea, I got lost in the pool. Knew it was coming, I watched how you move. How you turn your back on me and leave me to lose. Remember the text, how you said that you do. Said that you never leave, we would fight till it's due. But as it went on, I was fighting for you. Since the text turned green, why the fuck it ain't blue? Guess you done and I get it. Said you stay and you wanted my name and you left, so I'm guessing that you never meant it. Said you try and hold on cause the love was so strong, now I'm standing alone in this kitchen. Singing sad songs, but I'm knowing that this shit don't last long. If you leaving, then leave cause your bag's gone. But just know you can never come back home.
Don't let me down easy. If you're gonna leave me, baby, go and leave me all the way. Don't ask for all your things back, cussing out my name, yeah, just to go and take back what you say. Burn all the bridges, don't ask forgiveness. Walk away like I'm someone you hate. Don't let me down easy. If you're gonna leave me, baby, go and leave me all the way.
If you say that you done, ain't no take back. Said you fell out of love and I hate that. But see me, I was stuck like a drug, really feeling for love and somehow I can't shake back. When you walked out that door, I was hurting. All the dreams in my head, you was perfect. You remember the very first time that we chilled and I reached for your hand where the nerves at. Time to pass, but shit, that's what it do. It be times I be sick sitting thinking about you. It was death do us part. You gave me the blue, really played with my heart. Left me lost in the field, like this shit was fair game. But you made it the rules. On my heart, left a scar and a bruise. Hope that you can stand on all the shit that you did. I'm done, y'all finally through.
Don't let me down easy. If you're gonna leave me, baby, go and leave me all the way. Don't ask for all your things back, cussing out my name, yeah, just to go and take back what you say. Burn all the bridges, don't ask forgiveness. Walk away like I'm someone you hate. Don't let me down easy. If you're gonna leave me, baby, go and leave me all the way.
Do you have the time to listen to me whine about nothing and everything all at once? I am one of those melodramatic fools, neurotic to the bone, no doubt about it. Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. Am I just paranoid? Am I just stuck? I went to a shrink to analyze my dreams. She says it's like a sex that's bringing me down. I went to a whore. He said my life's a bore. So quit my white cause it's bringing her down. Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. Am I just paranoid? Grasping to control, so I better hold on. Sometimes I give myself the creeps. Sometimes my mind plays tricks on me. It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. Am I just paranoid? Like a son?
question, Adam, that I tell all my end user friends when they go visit a trade show or they get a demo from a manufacturer. I said the first question that you as an end user should ask the vendor or the manufacturer demoing the product is, hey, manufacturer, where do you suck?
Absolutely. I think it's a great call out because I tell you, the people who are successful in getting my business are those who are honest, right? And when you challenge them on something and say, so you're saying this, but I really know how this works. And what about this? And I'm like, yeah, that's true, right? That honesty goes a long way. I'd rather buy a B product from someone who's honest with me than something that's supposed to be an A+ product from someone I can't trust, right?
We ran weapons detection systems, walk-through weapons detection systems on every secondary campus. And we did it, every time kids come to school, every morning, every time you went outside, came back in, right? And you see all these crazy articles about how these weapons detections and lines wrapped around schools. Well, that was because there's a people problem there. There was an implementation problem there. They didn't implement the product right. Stop blaming the product for your failures. And that's what we get into in the security world is they want to say, well, it's a product problem. Well, 99% of the time, it's not a product problem. It's a people problem.
All right, welcome everyone to SVIP Live. My name is Taylor May, the founder of SVIP, Security VIP for short. I'm excited today because we're featuring a very good friend of mine, I've known for a couple years. Before I introduce this gentleman, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsors, XSponse. If you guys are not familiar with XSponse, click that QR code, or not click, actually scan the QR code on your smartphone. You can see more information about what XSponse does. They're really cool technology for school safety in particular. And on this episode of SVIP Live, we are featuring a school safety expert. His name is Chief Mark Stout, the Chief of Police for Putnam City Schools in Oklahoma City. Chief, my friend, welcome to SVIP. How are you? Oh, looks like your audio. I don't know if we can hear you, Chief. Still nothing yet, man. Let's see if we can fix Chief's audio. I don't hear him coming in. It was working perfectly when we kicked this off. Maybe try logging back in, Chief, if you have to, because for whatever reason, man, it's not picking up your audio. And while Chief is working on the audio, I do want to remind people this is live. So if you guys do have questions for Chief Stout, you guys can drop them in the comments. I will pick and choose the questions as long as they're applicable to Chief's background and experience. Chief is obviously law enforcement, but he does spearhead school safety and security for the school district in Oklahoma at Putnam City Schools. And while Chief's working on his audio, he'll be right back. It's always fun when you do live sessions, and technology tends to work in your favor and sometimes not work in your favor. But I'm excited because Chief Stout's a long-time friend of mine. And when it comes to school safety in particular, we look at technology that can be effective. And
all right, I'm here.
There we go, man. There was the audio. I was just talking to myself for a second there, so I'm glad to have you, Chief. Welcome aboard.
You're welcome. It said it was muted by host, and it wouldn't let me do anything, so I just turned it off and turned it back on. So,
man, I was like, you're not muted, man. I got you live and clear.
Okay,
but,
all right, we're good to go.
It's always fun when you do live sessions, man. I'll tell you what.
Yes, yeah.
Well, Chief, man, I want to give some context to our listeners who are maybe tuning in today, this afternoon. I know I'm in Dallas, you're in Oklahoma, so we're on Central Time. But if you're on the West Coast or East Coast and you're tuning in, Chief, why don't you give us some context and background about your experience?
Sure. As I said, I'm the Chief of Police for the Putnam City Schools Campus Police Department. The Putnam City School District is a independent school district here in the Oklahoma City metro area. There is no city of Putnam City. There used to be 100 years ago, but just the school district remains, and we cover 3 different municipalities here in Oklahoma City area. We cover the northwest quadrant of Oklahoma City, the city itself, and then the city of Bethany and the city of War Acres. And we have 27 school sites spread over a 43 square mile school district. We currently have right at about 20,000 students And as the campus police chief, like I said, I've been here 33 years. I've been chief for about 20 of those years, 23, about 23 years as the chief of police. And we are fortunate that the Putnam City School District and the patrons of the district really support not only campus police, but just general security and student safety is a big plus that our patrons support, not only through allowing us to have our own police department, but also through bond issues and allowing us to stay up on the latest technology and the latest methods and the different philosophies of school safety that we have spread throughout our district.
Chief, you've always been someone who has been very progressive and proactive when it comes to cutting edge technology. Ever since I've met you, man, you've always been like, raise your hand. I'll be the guinea pig. I'll test this out.
Yeah.
I'll trial it out. And not a lot of school districts are like that, man. Obviously, and I know in Oklahoma, like funding with paying teachers is tough sometimes. I know that funding is not always there, but maybe walk me through kind of why you're always so like aggressive, or not aggressive, but just open to, testing new technology.
Well, that comes again, as I said, a lot of it comes from the support of our district administration and the patrons of the district, and how they want us to be proactive. They want us to be upfront, in front of things as best we can as far as technology. Our district is 100% one-to-one as far as all of our students have their own iPads, and either the high schools take them home things, the elementary schools they have assigned to them, but they keep them at the school. But so we're very high on our Wi-Fi for the district is very strong for the entire district. The network we have, the local area network for our school district is a very robust system, which allows us to have a very strong camera presence in all of our buildings. We're operating close to 2,000 cameras across our district. We have about 500 to 600 access control points that we manage, access control doors across the district. All of our schools are, as I said, connected through the network, so we can, through our security system, which we use Genetec, allows us to have great control of not only the cameras, but the access control. And also, when we have an emergency of some type, we're able to trigger a lot of things from our dispatch center. That's another thing that makes us unique, in that we do operate a dispatch operations center 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We don't have officers on the street all that time, but we always have someone monitoring all of our buildings, all of our sites, all of the different cameras and electronic detection systems that we have, everything from radar at some sites to motion detection, water detection if we have a flood of some kind or anything like that. But we probably have 8 to 10,000 different types of monitoring devices, again, from motion control or motion sensors through cameras or separate motion detectors, and as I said, water detectors, heat detectors, all those kinds of things are all integrated into one system that we all manage here at the campus police department.
Well, it makes things easy when you have everything unified, for processes and policies. When it's unified and streamlined, then everyone's on the same page when it comes to that single point of truth there. And Chief, I know you're in the midst of graduation going on right now, so I do want to thank you for spending some time with me today.
Sure.
I know it's hectic this time of the year, man. But
Sure.
one of the things I want to bring up, Chief, when you and I spoke probably about a month ago, you made a comment to me that was really appealing, and I really cultivated around it. It was around the influence of social media connected to violent incidents inside of a school, and kind of that parallel with that connection. And I want you to kind of maybe speak more about that to our listeners today, about how kids nowadays that have access to social media or more, maybe there's more susceptible to violent incidents occurring, whether it's bullying, whether it's behavioral issues. I know mental health's a big thing in school districts, but what do you mean by that? What's the context behind the social media influence? Maybe walk us through kind of that concept.
Sure. So, obviously, particularly since COVID, and the shutdowns we had with COVID, we have seen a huge increase in the amount. It was big before COVID, but now after COVID, and we had students out of school, spending vast majorities of times on all different platforms of social media. And I won't mention any particular platforms. I think they all have their different functions. But what we've found is that because students are so into social media, that is their life, that is
Right.
their function. Everything goes to that. And so when someone says something the slightest little bit bad on one of the social media platforms, the next day at school, we will usually have some type of uh, school fight, which we count as a violent incident. Because a school fight nowadays can go from two kids rolling around on the ground to someone getting seriously hurt, uh, to the extent of even fatalities. And we've
Right.
seen that across the country. And we've seen a lot of things that social media is the center point of all that. And so it does make a difference in the capabilities that students have to get on social media. I know it's in talking with parents and things, it's very difficult to keep uh, a juvenile or child or off of social media. Even if they ban them, they kids are smart. They know how to get around these things. And so that's one of the things that you'll see the trend going across the country. It's now passed into law here in Oklahoma, that we are moving towards no cell phones at schools. And so we have, as a school district, our district administration and several of the committees that I'm on have looked heavily at other school districts that have taken cell phones out of the school setting. Um, and it takes a little time, it takes a lot of work, but they have seen a significant drop in uh, violent events. They've seen a significant drop in disciplinary actions having to be taken. They see a rise in grades and quality of work. Um, and even one school went as far to say as having, it was interesting to see students at lunchtime actually talking with each other rather than everybody sitting there on their phones. We've all seen it. We've all seen them at a lunchtime in a cafeteria. 90% are all staring at their phones.
Well, I was about to say,
And
God forbid we have a human conversation face to face versus on our
yes,
phones, you
yes,
know?
yes. And so it's a big deal, and we really think that social media, that will put a not that we can control social media outside of the school setting, but if we can control their access to social media during school, we think it will help in a multitude of things. One of those being keeping kids safe, keeping kids focused on school, and being able to uh, cut down on the infighting. You see people, the slightest little thing on social media turns into a huge insult, and then the fight is on. So that's that's kind of my crux on social media, and I think a lot of school districts are seeing that, and I think would agree that it's uh, a big problem, but it's something that is being worked on. Obviously, taking phones out of schools is going to take a lot of work, but that's the direction a lot of districts in Oklahoma are going, and the legislature of the state of Oklahoma is backing that up.
Yeah, I haven't heard that yet. That's interesting. And honestly, I would that the result of that is actually positive if you see a decrease of incidents happening at school because phones are out of the equation or social media is out of the
Correct.
equation. I guess
Correct.
the process there, the policy there is kids show up to school, they drop their phone off somewhere at the beginning of school, and then they get it back at the end of school. Is that how it would typically work Chief?
I think the plan is elementary and middle schools, no phones at all.
Right.
If you're caught with a phone, you have to turn it into the office. The high school level, there's a couple different ideas being kicked around. One, they can keep their phones, they just cannot be seen on their phones from bell to bell, start of the day to the end of the day. There are some products out there where the students, when they come into school in the day, they're given a certain type of bag that their phone goes into, and then it locks, and it won't unlock until the end of the day. When they walk out of the building, they have to go by a kiosk and hold their bag up to it, take their phone out, and they go. And so that's another avenue. We've looked a little bit into that. I'm not 100% sold on that. I've heard rumors that kids have learned how to defeat the locks already on those bags. So,
Wouldn't be
which I'm not
surprised.
shocked, not surprised. But yeah, I think that's the direction that a lot of school districts are going. I understand one of the biggest concerns we get is we have parents say, I need to get a hold of my child. How do I get a hold of my child if there's an emergency? You call the office and we'll get your child to a phone. If it's an emergency inside the building, calling your student is we need to take care of the problem and take care of the emergency. Your student being able to call you, which they probably not going to because the cell phones are going to tie up everything and everything's going to lock up. But we want to take care of the problem first, and then we'll worry about people calling in or out on a cell phone. So,
Well, in your time, Chief, I mean, close to 30 or over 30 years, or 20 plus years in the role, you've seen obviously challenges shift and change from your early days in that position to obviously now. And I think one of the things that I like to point out of what you've done really, really well is you've been able to cultivate a sense of respect and kind of community with the student body where they feel open, or at least have the ability to have a conversation with SROs and your team to share insights about maybe there's a bullying incident or a threat maybe, but having that kind of open door policy with your student body helps build that culture of a more safe and secure learning experience for schools, which not a lot of schools are doing that, man. So I do think that's important to kind of point out of how you've done that, and maybe you could shed some more light about that relationship building you've done with the students.
sure. And we've really worked at that over the many years that Putnam City Schools has had their own police department. And an SRO is a special kind of officer.
Right.
If you take an officer directly off the street that's been working street duty for 15, 20 years and shove them into a school, a lot of times not all the time, but a lot of times you're going to have a disaster, because that street officer is going to try to relate to those kids just like he's been relating to people he's been arresting on the streets for the past 10 years. And so we really look for officers that will be able to fulfill our mission. And our mission statement says we are here to serve and protect and to provide a safe learning environment for all of our students and our patrons and teachers. And that's our number one goal. And we do that. One of the number one ways we do that is establishing relationships and being open to our students for them, so that we're not the big bad police officer. We're not there to be bullies. We're not there to be in the big time enforcers. We're there to take care of our school and of that school site that each officer is assigned to. And if that means no, we're not going to arrest everybody that's at the school. We will when we have to, and when you break the law, you face the repercussions. But our main job there is to get to know our students, get to know them, and them get to know us, so that they feel comfortable coming to us, like you said, when there's an incident. I can honestly say we have retrieved more weapons, or stopped more dangerous situations, or kept acts of violence from happening in our schools from one-on-one communications with students than any technology or any device has ever done. And that's not saying that devices and technology is not good. Those are our tools, but the one-on-one relationship we have with our students, and making them comfortable and to feel safe at school and comfortable coming to talk to us or to any adult, is the number one important thing that you have to have in a school. If you don't have that, then things will fall apart, and you won't hear about what's going to happen next hour, or who might have something they're not supposed to have at school, whether it's a small pocket knife to a gun or whatever it might be. And as I said, we have solved more cases like that from that than we have in anything else.
I personally love that because as someone who's spent over 12 years in the security industry and have sold really cool technology, you can't
Mhm.
replace the human relationship, the human
Correct.
experience. And when you can build that and cultivate that kind of experience with students, when you have a 20 or 30 or 40-year age difference and students still feel trusted in you to
Mhm.
share that with you, that's special, man. That's how you reduce
Right.
these active shooter events. That's how you reduce these incidents, and honestly, mental health too. I know going to school nowadays is a different ball game than I went to
Mhm.
school, and so I know what these kids are probably going through, and they're seeing things online. But I personally love that, man, and that's a lesson, man, for the security industry. So technology doesn't solve everything for all the
No.
sales folks listening in on the
Well,
live.
yeah, as I said, technology is a great tool, and we use a bunch of it. And we're always looking at new things to supplement us, but it's a tool, it's a part of the entire program. I'm a big proponent that security and school safety is not a campus police department, it's not a principal, it's not a weapon detection system. It's the entire process. It's every student, it's every teacher, it's every administrator, it's every device, every police officer that we have. That's what makes schools safe, all working together, and that's what we strive to do all the time.
I love it, man. There was a point too, I think. I mean, you might have seen it, Chief, where or not students, but schools were thinking about pulling out SROs, and I was like, why would schools ever do that? Why would ever schools? Maybe it was because of funding. I know I can
Hmm.
understand funding issues, but I know you've had SROs in Putnam City for a while, so I want to hit more on that, and then we'll talk about maybe some technology that you're using in addition
Sure.
to relationship building. But the SROs that you're looking to hire, obviously, you hit on it earlier about having that certain mentality to be in a school versus off the street cop. But I mean, walk me through kind of the hiring process and retaining process of SROs too, because again, it takes a special person to be in that SRO position to work with kids as well as protect them, from violent incidents.
Right. And so it is a delicate balance between a street officer and an SRO, because you have to have that ability to switch it on to
Right.
go into street mode when there's an active shooter or some main large event or incident happening at your site or somewhere in the district. And we work really hard when we interview people to look at not only just their training or how much college they might have or things like that, but to me, part of an interview, when interviewing people, the biggest part is just getting to know them. Let them talk. Let them try to measure what their personality is like. Um, we look at online profiles of applicants, and what do they have online, or what are they looking at, and or what type of social media do they have, and things, and so we can kind of see what their mindset is. If I have someone that is talks all they talk about is want to be, want to get out there and fight somebody, or shoot somebody or whatever, might be, that's really not what we need to look at. Now, I have a lot of officers that are really into firearms and things like that, and that's great. But they're all to the point of being, that's not their main focus. That they're not here to draw their guns. They're not here to use their uh, uh, tasers or anything like that. We have those products, and we're there if we have to have them, but we're not um, in the capability or not the capability, but in the mindset of being the big bad police officer. Now, I will say there's a lot of street officers out there that become great SROs.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of them that do that stuff, but it is a process, and it is something that you have to train into an officer, especially a new officer. And we are very fortunate in our hiring. It is when hiring somebody, it's a 50-50 chance. You never know how they're going to turn out, because they're going to tell you what they want in an interview, or tell you what you want to hear. But we feel very fortunate in those that we have hired, and we feel good about all of the officers that we have in our department that work in our schools, both our police officers and our armed security, because we do have a mixture of both. So.
Well, you know what, Chief's a great thing on the resume when it comes to hiring for that position is if they went to school to Oklahoma State. that's great.
Well, that's one of the
great
things
answer.
we do have to look at. But there is another university in the state of Oklahoma that we put a little bit higher than that, because they are the
here we go.
University of Oklahoma. So
I was gonna say your odds increase when you go to OSU. You know, not that 50-50. It's more 80-20 right now. I'm just
yeah, exactly.
No, Chief. Well said, man. I've always been a strong advocate for SROs in the school, because I had them when I went to high school, and then I see school districts that don't have SROs, and I feel probably less fortunate for the kids, because again, I think it's a great tool and a great resource for kids nowadays, having a SRO in the building. I agree. I want to point out, just for people listening in, if you guys do have questions for Chief Stout, please drop them in the comments. I will answer, or not answer, I will ask Chief your question in the comments. I will pin it on the live stream. So if you do have a question, again, this is Chief Mark Stout, Chief of Police for Putnam City Schools in Oklahoma. So please make sure to drop a comment and I will ask it. Chief, I want to pivot to some of the technology that you're using. Obviously, I know you've got Genetec. Genetec's a great name in the security industry. Obviously, you got everything unified with Genetec. But before we kick this off live, that intro video, there's a gentleman named Ron Self, and Ron Self is also in school safety. He's done it in Arkansas for quite some time, and he talks about weapon detection systems. And that little highlight in the beginning of this discussion, he talked about it being a people problem, more so a technology problem. And I think that's somewhat true sometimes, because when people put in technology, sometimes they don't put it in properly, or maybe they're not equipped to have that kind of technology. So maybe walk me through. I know you're testing various weapon detection systems right now. We don't have to point to any of them, but maybe walk me through kind of that technology, how that's being used, or any other technology when it comes to kind of that active aggressor or active shooter element.
Sure. So as far as weapon detection, we've been pretty active in that for a couple of years now. We have weapon detection systems at all three of our large high schools, and all 5 of our middle schools. So every student coming into school at the start of the day goes through a weapon detection system. We currently use the open gate system at those sites, and that was Mr. Self made a good point in that you're right. It is, weapon detection systems are only as good as the people that are working them, the people that are running the systems as they go through. So at our school sites, our school administrators, along with teachers that are assigned that as part of their morning duty and things, are the ones operating those systems. And there's been some hiccups over the years. I can honestly say that we had not this school year, but the previous school year, we had a student. It was a cold morning. The teachers and principals working the system were trying to get the kids in from outside. And it was raining and really cold. And we had a student that was able to, a student in front of him, he was right behind him, the student in front of him, the alert system went off. That drew the attention of the people working it. And this student walked in right behind him, and it went off again, but it was just a split second from going back to normal to going off again, that the workers didn't see it. As a matter of fact, we had to watch the video and slow it down very, very slow, so we saw the change from red to green to red. And he had a loaded SIG 45 automatic in his backpack.
Wow.
And he went on through the building and ended up in one of the bathrooms of the school, and was seen by a student who went and told teacher. Teacher saw him. They started the lockdown process. In the meantime, the student fired the gun at the wall in the bathroom.
Wow.
The bathroom had just had new porcelain tiles put on the wall. It stopped the bullet, shattered the bullet. Actually, it only made a divot in the porcelain. Shattered the bullet all over the building. The child that brought it, and it was a child, it was a 12-year-old, was lucky he didn't get hit by any shrapnel. But he dropped the gun and ran because it scared him when it went off. And he went and turned himself into the principal that was running towards the bathroom along with our officers that were heading towards the bathroom. And he walked up to the principal and goes, "I think I'm the one you're looking for." And so,
This is a 12-year-old, you said? A 12-year-old?
yes,
Wow.
yeah. And so it is not, every weapon detection system, as he said, is not in nothing, none of the technology that you buy. There's nothing that is 100%.
Right.
You will never find technology that's 100%. It's how you use it, how you train to your people that work it. We revamp things after that to make sure we slow down and don't rush kids through the detectors and things. We are currently going to be putting weapon detection in all of our elementary schools, not so much for students, but they can be used on students, but mainly for adults that are coming into the building during the school day so they can be vetted before they go into the rest of the school building through our we have security vestibules at every site. Nobody can enter the building without being buzzed through two different doors. And in between those two doors will be a weapons detection that they'll have to go through before they're allowed in the rest of the building. So technology is great. And we have, besides weapon detection, we have some other things. Whenever you're ready to talk about AI stuff, we'll talk about that and things. But
Yeah, I want to pivot to some other tools in the arsenal that you're using.
Sure.
But with weapon detection, Chief, I don't know if you saw, it was probably maybe a month ago down here in Dallas, Frisco, there was a stabbing at a track meet that unfortunately led to a fatality. But
Yeah.
the the gentleman brought a knife in his bag at the track meet, and obviously, that other student lost his life. And so that's my question, Chief. Obviously, having weapon detectors at the school makes 100% sense, but some of these like sporting events, track meets, football games, do you envision having weapon detection at those places as well?
So we do all of our football games and basketball games. We all entries are made through weapon detection into those events. Track meets are not as well attended, so that's not usually something we do. It might be something we'll be thinking about in the future. We do weapon detection at all of our graduations ceremonies, which we just finished up last Saturday. All three of them finished as of Saturday evening. But we do use it at other sites. So it's not just for going into the school. Like I said, we do all of our high school and middle school football games, some of the soccer games. Soccer has, as I'm sure is in Dallas, is a huge draw now. Sometimes some of our soccer games are bigger than some football games. And so we're using weapon detection at those as well. And so it's we see that, and I think a lot of sporting venues are doing that. I know at the Thunder games, they have weapon detection at the World Series Hall of Fame softball stadium and events all at the softball stadium or here in Oklahoma. That all of those are all you go through weapon detection for all of those games during the College World Series and any games that are played at that site. And so it's becoming more and more common, and I think you'll see it even more, especially as weapon detection evolves into different devices and different types of units and what can be done with the various different products that are out there.
Yeah, and just for the audience, there's kind of two flavors of weapon detection. There's a concealed solution, and then there's a visible solution. And typically, the concealed solution, which Chief is already using, Open Gate is the vendor. You walk through it, obviously, scans if there's a weapon in your backpack or hoodie or what have you. And then the visible solution for my audience works with typically your existing camera infrastructure, right?
Correct.
To look for. But the gun has to be visible, which in that instance, Chief, when that 12-year-old pulled out that like pistol in the bathroom, you probably wouldn't have seen it because you don't have cameras in the bathroom. Right?
Correct. But yeah, we are evaluating several different systems. As you mentioned earlier, I'm pretty open to I don't like limiting ourselves or our district to just one technology. And so that's why we have one technology, weapon detection for concealed and things like that for the entry into schools at the high schools and middle schools. We're using a different type of sensor for the elementaries, a different system. And then for open, when we have a gun out or exposed in a hallway, so we focus first on someone with carrying a gun on the perimeter of the school, normally on where the main entries. If you look at the history of active shooters, most of the time they're coming through the main front doors or near there. And so we're looking at cameras that can identify guns that someone carrying a gun. That can be done through a couple ways, either through a separate AI platform or through there's some camera manufacturers that now have specific cameras that do just that. And we are testing and been testing those for those particular cameras for that one company. I'll say it is Bosch cameras. And we've been testing those for a year and a half, almost 2 years. We'll be deploying those in one of our buildings this summer, one of our large buildings this summer. The key thing being is we're not putting them in conjunction with the concealed weapon detection when people walk through. These will be further on down a hallway from those, so that if they make it past weapon detection and then they pull something out, then those cameras will detect them. And so that's one avenue. The other one is AI. And as I said, that's a whole nother story. That's a whole nother picture that we can talk about here in a minute also.
Yeah. So. Well, and I do want to just point back to what Ron Self was saying, and what you've done very well, Chief, is you've obviously taken care of the basics at the school in order to put in emerging technology like weapon detection, like other forms of AI. And I think Ron's point in that video, what he was saying is a lot of companies that go to or a lot of clients that go to a trade show or a conference, they see the latest and greatest. It could be a drone, it could be LiDAR, it could be weapon detection, and like, oh, we need this. But then they go back to their place of business and they don't even have locks on the doors,
Yes.
They don't even have stuff like that. So, or they have analog cameras. So it's like, you need to make sure you have the basics in place in order to be able to equip yourself with the latest and greatest coming out of the industry. And I think you've done that very well at Putnam City.
Yeah. And I think one of the key things that I learned a long time ago when it comes to securing your school, don't try to secure everything at once. Don't try to make it a big, you don't need to go out and buy the best, biggest, baddest cameras out there and put 100 cameras in your school and every door on access control. Start small is what we did. We had access control on the main front entrance of every building. And then we built from that. And now every building has multiple doors with card access control on it that we can control from here, that we can unlock and lock in an emergency or whatever's needed for responders and things. You need to, but start off whatever you can manage to do at the beginning. Start off and get the basics in, like you said, get your cameras, get your access control. Because if you can't control access to your building, you're not going to, no matter what technology you have, weapons detections or anything like that, it's not going to help. And so start off with cameras, start off with access control, and then start building your system from that. I've been here 33 years. We've been in charge of cameras and access control for about 18 years. And it's taken from that, we began with just one door in every building with a card reader on it. It's taken us 18 years to build up to where we're at now, and where we have hundreds and hundreds of doors with access control across the district. And again, up to 2,000 cameras spread across the district, which in some aspects is a lot, in some aspects it's not. We always want more. And you're right. You don't, if you're still using analog cameras, you're way behind in the times. You need to move up. Sorry to say that, but it's, and that's where we were 15 years ago. We placed everything with analog cameras. We are starting this summer, the cameras that we put in, between 12 and 15 years ago, we are now coming back around to those and replacing all of those. And we're starting that project actually this summer. And with the bond money that we just passed a bond issue in February, and 2.5 million of that is just for security, and
Nice.
over 5 years. And so we start actually July 1st. We start doing several large camera projects and upgrades in several sites of the oldest cameras. And so, which I will say again, Genetech helps us with that, because Genetech helps us keep track of what cameras are where, and what brand they are, how old they are, all that kind of stuff. And so it's a never ending process. And again, that's the second thing I would say about school security is you've got to keep moving. You've got to keep evaluating. You've got to keep looking at things. Don't be, there are more than enough companies out there. And Taylor, I know you'll agree with this. There's more than enough companies out there that'd be happy to come do a demo for you.
Yep.
All of them. I mean, they don't care if you're the smallest school in your state. They'll come do a demo for you because they want your business, and they want to show you what their product can do for you. And that's why we are always continuously looking at different products.
No, it's good. I agree. And it's funny, Chief. It's not funny, but it's almost comical, because every now and then I'll still see school districts, man, use like a key fob or a circle with a bunch of keys on it, and that's their access control. You know, they don't have the readers or anything like that. You know, so it's good to do your homework. It's good to be engaged. Good to go to shows. Good to do product demos, even if it's not a product for you. At least you know what's on the market, right?
What's available? Yes. Yeah.
But Chief, I want to pivot now to the AI. You mentioned some other AI technologies you're using, so we'd love to learn more about some of the additional emerging technologies you're using for AI. And I might have one I want to mention to you on this live interview. But walk me through some of the additional AI technology you're using.
There's several different kinds of AI available. A lot of cameras nowadays have their own AI platform on them. So you not having to buy a separate product, you can push out those analytics, as they call them, AI that's on individual cameras from different manufacturers. We are looking at a couple different systems. Most of them focused on gun recognition or gun detection of someone carrying a gun. They are there's one that we are trying that we tried several years ago when they were brand new, and they weren't it wasn't really what we were looking for at the time. They have improved their product greatly since then, and so we're doing a proof of concept with them here in a few weeks. We're currently doing a proof of concept with another company right now that detects weapons. It also will detect aggression. Two kids that are bowling up to each other, getting ready to fight. It will detect someone falling that just falls or passes out or something like that in a hallway. So it detects several other things also. And so we're evaluating that process right now. That system's called Volt. We will, after we get through all our evaluations, we're going to study and look at costs and deployment, and how those services would be deployed, and how we would use them, and things. But the first step, like I said, all of these companies will do demos for you, and will come out and talk to you, or send you plenty of literature and descriptions of their products and things, and you can be more than overwhelmed with everything that's out there. I think the important thing to do with AI, and this comes back from some of the things that was talked about at the conference I just went to last week. AI is a tool, again, just a tool. It is not, Arnold Schwarzenegger taking over the planet, and, Skynet taking over. AI is not, there's a lot of misconceptions about AI, but AI is a tool to do the heavy lifting part of analytics, of looking at what that person might be carrying and responding to that and giving us the alert. AI is just doing what it's programmed to do. That's not a self-creative, self-aware product or anything like that, as I was alluding to. And they are a great tool to use and can be implemented into several of these products that I mentioned and that we are looking at are integrate into our security platform, integrate into Genetec. And so that unifies everything under one system for us. And so AI is important and is a good thing. But all of the major security platforms such as Genetec or uh, Milestone or any of those products will all tell you that AI is a part
Yeah.
of it, and AI doesn't take over your system and doesn't run things for you. There's nothing out there like that, unfortunately. But it is a tool and a great thing to really help you focus in on specific things, and so that you don't have to sit there and stare at a screen for uh, 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I mean, I use AI every single day as
Yeah.
a great supplement to help me write emails or draft
Yes,
content,
yes,
you
we
know?
all do that. We
Yeah.
all do that. Yeah,
We all
yeah,
sound like experts, right? You know, so
yeah. I can write some really great emails if I run them through a formalizer.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I
yeah,
do want to give a plug to your point. Volt AI is actually a really, really cool company. I saw a demo of them a couple of weeks ago, and the tracking element as well as the detecting behaviors or people
yes,
that falls is really cool. It's really unique. I think that's a
yes,
really cool solution. So looking forward to hearing your feedback when you guys are
sure,
wrapped up there.
sure.
Chief, more on AI. What I've seen. Obviously, you mentioned all the good things around AI when it comes to physical security element, but what we've seen now in the security industry is the digital footprint with AI on the cybersecurity side, where kids are now weaponizing the use of AI to hack things, to manipulate things, to modify
Hmm.
things. And one of the technologies, Chief, that I want to introduce you to, and I saw this technology, man, probably maybe a month and a half ago. They're called Swear, SWEAR. And what Swear does is it helps detect modified content. In other words, deepfake technology. And
Hmm.
for my listeners who are not familiar with deepfake technology, if I wanted to impersonate Chief Stout, I would take his video, his voice, his face, and I would pretend I'm Chief and then create a video. And maybe I wanted to get information to Chief's records or bypass confidential information, but I could take essentially everything that Chief's showing me right now, his video, his voice, and I could make my own video and use that for however I wanted to use that. Well, this technology called Swear helps authenticate that, meaning it will detect, hey, that's not really Chief speaking. That's actually someone else because they
Ah,
manipulated Chief's content. And so,
sure.
so think about that, Chief. We talk about obviously cybersecurity being hacked, but you talk about like these malicious actors impersonating parents to get in front of kids, or there are these pedophiles trying to take
Hmm.
advantage of kids, these sex offenders trying to take advantage of kids. Well, this digital mass footprint problem right now with cybersecurity is huge around deepfakes because if I can bypass XYZ parent and get information to this kid and take videos of someone and manipulate those videos and take a kid's clothes off or
Hmm.
something like this is a huge problem right now, man.
Yes,
So this company Swear is really onto something. I got to see the technology and it was, I can't tell you, man, it was beyond impressive how they actually do it. And
sure.
so you think about all the cameras you have in Genetech, all the audio and everything like that, being able to authenticate every single footprint from that video camera in case you needed to use it in court or you needed to use
Hmm.
it in somewhere like that. That solution Swear will help make sure that everything piece of content is actually
Hmm.
legitimate. So it's
Yeah,
really really cool.
yeah, and that would be great. A great product that we can use to again to authenticate our own video. But as you mentioned, the again, this turns us back around to social media.
Yeah,
Kids these days are on social media, um, and we every day we are dealing with some type of student that's being either blackmailed or they've sent a picture to a friend and that friend now has sent it to the entire school.
exactly. Yep.
And we're talking the little ones. I mean, this isn't just the big kids. These are our middle school kids and even some of them younger, and they don't understand. They put that picture out there. That picture is being taken and used on the dark web,
Yep.
and it's as soon as they send it, it is around the world within minutes. And without having something in place that can stop that or to authenticate who is a real picture and what is not, that so that can, if it's not a real, it can be taken down. Um, that I'm interested in that product. That's an
It's so
interesting thing.
bad.
Yeah.
It's so bad of a problem, Chief, that you mentioned on the dark web. They're selling that content because they manipulated the content, whether it's a
Sure.
video or it's a picture,
Yep.
and it's a minor, and they're taking their clothes off. They're making things
Hmm.
happen. It's a fucked up. I'm sorry, it's a fucked up situation.
You're right. You're exactly right. It
It's a
is.
big
It
problem,
is.
and for so long, Chief, I looked for solutions. I looked for
Hmm.
answers, and this technology came outside of the security industry. Again, swears it's not a security company; it's a technology company.
Right.
And they finally developed this solution. It's patent. They have a patent on it, but they've developed it for 7 years. So it's
Right.
actually it's ready. So I'll be happy to make an introduction to the CEO over there
Sure.
for you. But it's
Sure.
I really think that technology, especially with the problem around the minor situation and how content's being manipulated,
Right.
that their solution is, I think, game changing. It's revolutionary.
I
So
agree. I agree with you completely. Yes. Yep.
well, Chief, we got about 9 minutes left. I did get a question come in from someone texted me a question, which is funny. They saw my live on LinkedIn. They texted me, but pretty simple question here, Chief.
Hmm.
I'll read it real quick for you, man. What do you think out of the 33 years you've been in the position there at Putnam City? What do you think has been the biggest accomplishment during your time there that you're most proud of?
I tell you, that's pretty easy. I'm most proud of the developing our department and making our department a valuable asset to the district. If we're not valuable to the district, we're not doing it right. And I'm not patting myself on the back, but one of my key things is I meet with every one of my officers every day.
Mm.
And I think that's I'm here when they come in the mornings and meet with them, and then I'm here when they come in the afternoons every day. And I see them come and go, and I think that relationship of us all working together for one common goal is what makes us successful. And if we're successful, then we're of value to this district, and we're keeping kids safe. And that is if you can make yourself valuable and make yourself important to your district and to your school site. It's what I tell my officers, to make yourself a part of that. We even use the analogy of your school's Mayberry and you're Andy Taylor, you're Sheriff Taylor at that school, and take care of that school. And that's the relationship you need to have with those people in that building. And we really strive for that. And I think that's what I'm most proud of. I mean, I can look at all the technology we do and the unification we did with all the cameras and access control and stuff. But the key point being is that we're a valuable part of this district and an important part, and we're appreciated, and we give that back in the sense of that's what we're here for, and to help keep our students safe.
I couldn't agree more. I think you've done that very well, Chief, from the time I've known you. And it reminds me of my conversations with Josh Anderson, which you may have heard that name. He's the director for Cherokee Nation up in Tulsa for the Hard Rock Casino.
Yeah.
And what he does is similar with what you do. He meets with his team daily, but he also takes the time to meet every single employee outside of his jurisdiction at all 10 plus casinos inside the tribe. So,
Sure.
from marketing to operations to the janitorial staff, he knows them by a first name basis and they know him. So he's actually taking the time to get to
Right.
know his employees, which is unique, man. And we talk about safety and security being a shared responsibility beyond the technology, beyond your jurisdiction. But again, having like a student say, "Hey, chief," or "Hey, SRO, I see
Right.
something over there that doesn't look right." I mean, that takes a lot to build a community and a culture like that. So I do think
Right.
that's probably one of your most proud. I agree with, man.
It
That's
is.
awesome.
It is. Yep. It is.
Well, man, I would do again. I want to remind my audience we got about 5 minutes left. You guys do have a question? I will ask Chief. Just drop a question in the chat. But Chief, as we look towards obviously summer's approaching, so I would expect during the summertime. I wouldn't say safety and security is not on high alert during the summertime. I'm sure you guys still make that a priority. But with schools out of the buildings, teachers are gone. Is it really just about revamping, refreshing, improving your existing posture before the next school year, or walk me through kind of the mindset during the summer
So sure.
process?
Yeah. You're right. There's a little bit of a mental letdown. You're not on point all the time,
Right.
but that's when we incorporate a lot of training. We have our, we talked about mental health. Most of our officers are crisis intervention trained officers, CIT officers. The ones that aren't will be going through that week-long school this year, and that's dealing with mental health issues and crisis, people in crisis. We'll be doing that this summer. We do active shooter training in the summer. And in the meantime, as I said before, we have several large projects that we'll be watching and working with our integrators to get done this summer. We're starting camera upgrades and access control upgrades. We've got 2 new buildings coming online this summer, and some other new buildings in the plans over the next couple of years. So people always say, "Well, aren't you glad school's out? Everything will slow down." Actually, our mindset changed a little bit, but things speed up in another area and things. And so that's, but it's always exciting doing new things and getting new technology put in and then getting everybody trained up in what we need for the next school year.
I agree, man. It's just minus the heat, of course, right? Especially
Yeah. We try to do as much as we can inside. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I believe, man. When I played ball at Oklahoma State, man, it was I mean, obviously it's hot here in Texas, but during my time at OSU, it was definitely hot during 2 days, man.
Oh
August.
yeah.
It was
August
brutal.
is a horrible month. Yeah.
Oh man. So Chief, I guess final comments here, man. Is there anything else that you think is important for our audience listening in right now? We've got people tuning in from YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok. Got about
Right.
45, 50 people here tuning in. Is there anything advice or counsel to maybe someone new in a position like yourself that maybe you wish you would have had this counsel when you first started? I mean, share some light there.
Yeah. I think kind of what I alluded to earlier, and this is the chief that was here prior to me, he was my mentor, and I really admired him. His name was Ken McNair, and he kind of gave me a lot of good advice, and some of that was kind of what I alluded to earlier. Make yourself important to your whatever job you're doing. Make yourself important to the people that are surrounding you, so that and not just by bragging or pointing something out or being sticking your getting out of your lane, shall we say,
There you
but
go.
do your job and make yourself valuable to the people that are around you, and that then comes back to you for the purpose of being able to go out and I can go out to any of my schools and every principal in our district knows who I am, and that's important. And they feel comfortable pulling me in the office to talk to me. And there might be a few that don't like me, but that's just part of the
You can't please everyone, right, Chief?
variety of people we have. They're probably all OSU people. Anyways.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
But yeah, it's I would say that just make yourself important to your school district, make yourself important to your parents and your kids that are in your district, and that will come back to help you do your job and to effectively keep your students safe, because that's what the bottom line is. We're here to keep students safe.
I agree, man. Couldn't have said it better myself. Just a comment here that I want to share from Blake. It's been a great podcast. Always great to hear from professionals in the industry. And I agree, Blake. It's always great to hear from guys like Chief Stout and what he's doing. I think we need more people like Chief in positions like this. So, here we go, Chief. You're gonna like this one. Kyle says, "Shots fired" about your OSU comment, man. So I tell you what, man, pistols firing, man. Chief, if people want to learn more about you, I don't want to give any personal information about yourself, but maybe I know there's probably people listening. Oh, can I get Chief's feedback on my technology, or how do I get more involved with Chief? What's the best place to do that, or best option to do that?
Just email me, and it's very simple. It's mstout@putnamcityschools.org. I'll be glad to help out anywhere I can with anybody. So be glad to help talk to someone if you just need to talk, or if you want to come and see what we have, the way we have things set up. We're always open for that too.
Awesome. Well, Chief, thank you again, my friend, for spending some time with me this last hour. I always enjoy
Sure.
catching up with you, my friend.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, Taylor. You take care.
Awesome. Well, guys and girls, that was Chief Mark Stout, the Chief of Police for Putnam City Schools in Oklahoma. Thank you guys for tuning in. Next week, we'll be sitting down with Brand Elverston. Brand is the retired director of asset protection for Walmart. So if you have questions about retail, asset protection, organized retail crime, Brand's a great asset for that interview. And you guys stay safe out there. And thanks again for joining SVIP Live.
Thank you.